Oh, What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dead Funny Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, joined with my co-hosts, Kelsey and JoJo. And today's podcast is going to be a little different. We're going to talk about a real situation that is going on right now. And the reason why I know about it is, one, because it affects the video game community, and two, it is actually right down the road from my house. Raven Software is under a lot of shit right now because they hired over 12 video game testers to move from states to come all the way up here to the great state of Wisconsin and have let go of the majority of them after they moved. Laid off completely. So there is a huge walkout going on right now at Raven Software Studios.
And sort of
Holy crap.
The problem there is, I believe they are part of the Activision umbrella.
Yes, they are, because
So,
they help.
Activision, famously a terrible place everyone hates currently. Blizzard, all of it.
Blizzard, yep, all the shit going on at Blizzard, yep.
Oh, just another thing for them.
Yeah. What? Like, what is it? What have they said about it?
So,
I'm not saying that their side's right by any means, but what have they said about it?
Well, let me pull up the actual report here so that way I'm
They had made
not
some assurances to the testing team or something. They were going to restructure the way they did stuff, and like people were temporary, and they were going to make people permanent. Something. So I think what they have said now is, okay, in doing that, we just had to ditch a bunch of people, like so. But we're still doing the thing we said we're going to do. So we're good.
So they forced people. They requested people to moved them, and went, by the way, you guys are temporary. Because my willingness to move changes drastically with the difference between permanent and temporary.
No, it's like their contract thing.
Activision fired testers from Raven Software, although they promised a salary increase. Activision has decided to cut costs on all Call of Duty series and fired about a dozen video game quality testers from Raven Software. It is a subsidiary studio that has been responsible for Warzone for the latest year and has also been responsible for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. At the moment, about a third of employees in the quality department have received notice of dismissal. Others have been fired in the coming days. Raven community manager Austin O'Brien reported that before his negative news, the department was promised a salary increase for 2 months. Naturally, the negativity affected the mood within the quality department. Ivan spoke about the situation inside. Absolutely no one wants to work. Everyone, or even if they get promoted, I wanted to leave the team because of Activision's reputation lately, and I don't want to support the company anymore. In my opinion, working at Activision is a shame. Restructuring is normal for companies, especially at this level. However, nowadays video game publishers are usually trying to increase their staff because of the growing interest in video games, rather than downsizing it. Activision's decision certainly has some foundation, but they are unlikely to be brought to the public.
Yeah, I mean, also,
that
Call of Duty game makes $1 million a day. Like,
Arrowgood.com?
Warzone makes $1 million a day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. All Call of Duties make a shit ton of money, for sure.
Yeah.
So in theory, they could probably afford to like maybe take the execs and give them like 45 minutes of not being paid and pay these people.
Probably.
Right. Well, they could afford to get rid of their CEO, who everyone hates and is probably some sort of criminal or something.
And pay these people.
Yeah, so Raven Studios, the reason why I found out about Raven Studios to begin with was because they were the ones that were making all of the Marvel-related games, like Ultimate Alliance and stuff like that. I actually met the head of Raven Studios. I actually have a video game, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, in the case, brand new, with every single member that worked on that game's signature on it, because they were at my comic book shop one day. Including the secretary, because it was funny because one of the guys joked and was like, oh, well, she was the one that was taking the phone calls while, we were working on this game. And they're all like, you should get her signature on it. She's like, oh, no, not at all. And me being the guy that I was like, absolutely, you're part of the team. Sure, go ahead. So I had her sign my game. So I even have her. How many people have a game with the secretary's name on it? Let's fucking go.
I wonder how many people who signed that thing still work at Raven.
Probably none.
Probably none. Yeah.
Anyways, so that's how I found out about Raven. Raven has helped out with the last two, or not the last two, but the last Call of Duty and the one before that. And when you look at Activision as a whole, this information is for all these viewers at home who don't really know that much about Activision. I know Kelsey doesn't know that much about Activision either. Activision also owns Blizzard, who is responsible for World of Warcraft, Stargate? No, Starcraft. There you go, Starcraft and Diablo. So very, very gigantic. It's like an RTS in space game.
Yeah, StarCraft.
Yes, the StarCraft and the World of Warcraft. Yes. So juggernaut titles, like huge
Jesus
juggernaut
Christ.
titles, including the fact that they release a new Call of Duty every 2 years. So.
Okay.
And Call of Duty literally never loses. They have
also,
3 companies that
owns Candy Crush.
There you go.
For the mobile game, it's technically Activision Blizzard King, and King is the company that does Candy Crush.
Yeah.
We discount mobile games
money
because we are like the three of us, for the most part, are not mobile gamers. Like, we may have games on our phone, but it is not our primary form of gaming. It doesn't change the fact that mobile gaming rakes in a ton of money.
Especially overseas. Here's
this huge company. It's Call of Duty. Oh my god, and it's Warcraft. Oh wow, and then Crush, and all of this shit is under this guy who's terrible and everyone hates, and he won't leave.
Mm-hmm. I'll put it this way to back up Kelsey's point. I love Final Fantasy VII to death. They released Final Fantasy VII First Soldier, which is a battle royale that is on mobile only. I have not touched it because I don't like mobile games. It is probably one of the most successful mobile games in Japan right now. Like, it is insane how many people are fucking playing that game. Enough to the point where they're talking about possibly porting it to like the PC, which then I would play it. But right now I'm not going to. I'm sorry. There's no story to it, so it's nothing I need to learn. So yeah, it's just run around and shoot them as a Final Fantasy character. Sweet.
I do think JoJo's point is pretty compelling, though, for how much money is being raked in by
for sure,
notoriously bad people.
The idea they really need to fire 12 dudes.
Well, I don't know if they fired 12. I think they fired half the 12. I think was what happened. But at the same time, there's also been apparently let goes in the coming days since that's happened. So that was the first outcry. Was like half the game tester team was just let go right after they moved. Now, what I will say, that I agree with the article. Restructuring happens in the company all the time. This shit happens. But to have somebody completely uproot their life, move, some of these people probably move from California, I would have to think. I mean, most of this shit happens in a Silicon Valley where they get these people in first and then move them to where these substations are and shit like that. So to move from California all the way to Wisconsin, I'm just going to throw that out there. It's a dick move. It's a fucking dick move. Like, that's a lot of... I can't imagine the amount of pressure, worry, and panic that you would have to go through knowing yet you just moved somewhere. They're probably in the situation of still trying to even just get their license changed over to this state, much less having to worry about now finding another job. Not to mention if they can't pay their bills, all that shit goes on their record. That hurts your credit, everything else. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. So it is a huge, huge asshole move.
Wisconsin is not exactly the mecca of game development. Like, if you're in that industry, you came out to Wisconsin, like, I don't know what you're doing. Like,
well, Raven Softwares is here, though. Raven Software is a big, software company.
Right, well, so then if you've been let go from Raven, then what's the other place?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Where are you going to go from there? Yeah,
that's my point. Is, like,
that's fair.
What are they going to...
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm pretty sure they were in Silicon Valley first, and then they got transferred up here. They're probably, I mean, I don't know necessarily 100% where Activision's headquarters is, but I know a lot of video game tester jobs normally start around that Silicon Valley, whole block, circle, whatever you want to call it over there. So that would suck. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I get layoffs happen, shit like that, but this is something where... Yeah, I can't side with not that I would, but I can't side with the company on that one. Like, that's just a dick move. Like, that is putting so many people's immediate life in jeopardy, all for the sake of what? Once again, like the article said, we'll never know the real reason. And we know they're not in trouble. Call of Duty comes out every year, and it blows through the newest numbers of the last one every single time. It's the most watched thing on Twitch. It's the most downloaded thing on Steam. It's the most played game all the way until about 3 months until the new one comes out, and then it drops off big time. The new one comes out, and the numbers go right back through the fucking roof again. So they're not hurting by any means. I mean, Blizzard, they might be hurting a little bit just because all the shit going on at Blizzard, but I mean, I highly doubt Activision is seeing the blowback effects of that. It's more Blizzard is seeing the obvious immediate effects of all that, which, once again, if that's the shit that's going on where women are being sexually harassed, fuck yeah, fuck them. Deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it because I love Diablo, and I would hate for Diablo to go away. But I mean, if it means that people are getting sexually harassed for me to get a video game, bye Diablo. See ya.
Yeah, not worth it.
At this point, it's all through Activision. Like, people genuinely really want Bobby Kotick, the CEO, to step down. He's complicit in some, not in the sexual stuff or whatever, but he's like, I can't remember. He's done some things. Is what has come out is that he's not okay. So like every employee is like, hey, maybe get rid of this guy, but for whatever reason, other executives really want to protect him.
Well, they want to protect him. Okay, I won't speak for all of them, but if an executive is vulnerable, it means all executives are vulnerable. So if all of the executives are like, no, we'll just we'll group up, we'll circle the wagons, that way they can't take any of us down. Like, it makes sense. It's a long-term self-defense strategy, but it's shitty.
It's kind of like that situation where you look at like fucking video games where like you actually go and fight like a god or something. It's like, oh my god, gods can bleed. So now it's like this whole immortal thing that's above you that you can never fuck with. Now you know it can get fucked with. So yeah, that's why they don't want to just throw. Yeah, exactly. So once one's gone, it's like, okay, cool, we can make that change and get one of these fucking higher ups out here. Okay, sweet. So just got to prove that the god can bleed. Until then, it's a nasty scenario, and a lot of shit happens. So. And it sucks. I mean, because it is a thing where it affects, like, especially something in a video game. I mean, the effect it has on the fans is one thing. It's not the most important thing, because especially when we're coming to like a sexual harassment situation, the victims are by far the most important situation. But I've even heard some of the reports from some of the victims that are like, it just upsets me because it's like, I know this is going to cause delay in work that I've been doing this entire time for my fans to be able to play the game that they love. And now this has to be delayed due to the fact of all this other shit that's going on. And yet I've been like just bearing with it the entire time because it's like, I want to get this done because I know how much this means to my fans, and that's what is important to me.
Yeah. I mean, beyond the delay thing, like, it's just a fucked up thing where like, you don't want to, at this point, maybe don't want to financially support Activision by buying this product.
Yeah.
All these people worked on this thing, and most of them are not involved in what happened, and maybe want people to play the thing they made.
Yep. Or the ones that were involved and were victims, and they're all like, I don't want this all for naught. Like, I had to endure this shit and try to make this. Yeah. Me and JoJo had a big conversation about that when we talked about the Activision walkout. Because it is one of those things where it's like, I saw a lot of people say like, oh, boycott Activision. It's all like, okay, that's one thing. It's like, don't buy any, because it was specifically like they were the majority of the first victims were on the Diablo 4 team, and they're all like, don't buy Diablo 4. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I would go that far. Like, if the victims are coming out and being like, hey, we don't want to support this game, we don't want to support this, that's one thing. But the victims were kind of like coming out, and I don't mean to call them victims in any kind of negative light. The people who were wronged were coming out, and they were basically being all like, look, we don't want this to taint Diablo 4. Like, we put a lot of overtime, blood, sweat, and tears into this game. Like, you know, you're not hurting Activision the way that you want to. You're really. It is
important to, and that's actually, I'll touch to what both of you said. When there are those that were wronged, I think you're right to not necessarily use the word victim, because that may not be a term that they're using for themselves.
Right.
For those that are wronged, following their narrative, because if you discount the value of their work because you're identifying them so hard as victims that their work no longer has value, that may actually make their experience worse.
Yep.
And so it's valuable to follow their lead of, hey, no, I do want you to engage with the game and engage with the work and things like that, but I do want you to call out the bad apples, because we use the term bad apples often to mean like, oh, hey, like, it's just one or two, it's not a big thing. The phrase is, a few bad apples spoils the whole bunch. And the point is, you get them out or the whole thing is destroyed. And so to not see an action of like, we're getting them out across the board, whoever it is, it doesn't matter, we're kicking them out because this bunch is not going to be spoiled by a few bad apples. That I think is crucially different. I guess that's the easiest way to say it.
Yeah. Important, like, at least this has risen to a point where like Microsoft and Sony have had to like make comments like, hey, you know, something isn't done about the CEO situation. We are going to reassess our business relationship.
Which they should. They absolutely should. Once again, I've made it very known on this podcast.
Hang on. What is JoJo saying?
I think he cut out for a second. I thought he was done. My bad.
That actually matters. That's all. It's not like
a
bunch of little people doing whatever we do, but like a big ass corporation saying, "Hey, we don't want to actually have Call of Duty here."
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
That's what you need to do. If you have power, speak up for those who don't. Like,
yep.
That's the most valuable thing you can do.
Yep, 100%.
Following their lead, not making the narrative for them, obviously.
Exactly, 100%. And like I said, I've on multiple times on the podcast, like I said, it's definitely a situation where we want to wait, we want to hear all the facts, and we want to get stuff out. But early on in this case, we already had text messages of what was going on from like the frat culture guys of all of this. The Bill Cosby suite was by far like, what the fuck. So yeah, like I said, I am all for fucking going through the entire process and making sure what we're jumping on is correct and hearing all the information. But once we got that out, I didn't care about anything else that's come out. I'm done.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Didn't need anything else. That is good enough. They have the text messages and emails to fucking prove it. They've already shown it to the public. That is 100%, and names tied along with them. Like that is, you can't get any more fucking hard cold facts than that. So. Yeah, that's rough. So I would 100%, if that's what Microsoft and Sony need to do, that's good on them to step up that way. Because realistically, it's not something that affects them that way. Like they really don't have to do anything. Call of Duty still comes to their system, they still make money. So for them going out of their way to do that, it's big props. Big props. Yeah, I don't know. It's rough, man. Like I said, it's crazy because it's like I don't feel like this is something that we hear a lot of as far as like workplace troubles whenever it comes to like the video game industry. So this just seems so bizarre to me because this is just
it's been doubling up, let's say, for the past 2 years.
It's crazy.
With Cyberpunk, it was a huge deal. Last of Us 2, a lot of development stories come out.
I was gonna say, I feel like we're hearing a lot more about the experience of developers of like you're basically glued to your desk,
crunch time,
and screamed at while glued to your desk to get this done as fast as you can. And then the moment you've produced what they are paying you to produce, you are kicked out without pay and never heard from, like you never talked to again. And
it's like some of that stuff is like there are people who don't know what's happening, making decisions. Like we don't know what the people who are doing the work can actually do in whatever time frame they're being provided, and then you get this game that comes down and it's just broken.
Yeah. And this goes back to something I pointed out a long time ago, and I pointed out a specific point to it, and this adds to that point, which is at some point, I mean, if we've got big video game companies like Microsoft and Sony, and I know we don't have a big platform here at Dead Funny, but we do have a platform, so I'm more than happy saying it's on this platform, is that at some point as gamers, we need to fucking band together and not fucking pre-order a game. Imagine how much Activision would shit themselves if we didn't pre-order a game. Imagine them trying to sell a game without any, not saying not buy the game, but don't pre-order it. They would shit themselves not knowing how much money they're going to make before this game drops. Absolutely would fucking shit themselves. Just something as easy as waiting to spend your money the day of versus before, or like I said, not flat out supporting a game. I mean, once again, there's a double-edged sword with that one, but it is a thing where it's like, look at all these harsh conditions that we're having with these developers, and as JoJo pointed out, it's resulting in broken games. That's all we've gotten in the last. I said this on a podcast not that long ago. This is all we've gotten. Like our standard is so fucking low for a game now that it's okay to release a game and be like, oh, sorry, I know you wanted to play as soon as it came out, but servers are down, we're working on it. Or, oh, this didn't work, it's breaking, work on it. I love New World to death. I have literally played that game every single fucking day since it's released. I have over 500 hours in that game already, and it came out a month ago. I love the fuck out of that game. It's been more than a month, it's been like 2, almost 3, but still. I love the fuck out of the game, but it is the most broken piece of shit I've ever touched in my life. It sucks. It really sucks. And they go to fix something and somehow break something else that is 100% unrelated to the issue that they fixed. It happens. And this is what happens when these crunch times are happening the way they are. And it's not even just video game departments. Where I hear this the most is animation departments. From what I hear, animation departments have it fucking rough. And people like Rooster Teeth. I used to be a big fucking advocate and supporter of Rooster Teeth. And they started coming out about how their animation department was destroyed by Ruby and that futuristic robot show that they were doing. And then they had that other like little Wild West show that they were doing. Like they had all these different shows going. And like they just, it's crazy.
What was the remind me of the scandal with the this futuristic show, the one that they released. They got like Michael B. Jordan and Maisie Williams and some of those to voice actor for them. Like, what was going on with that one? Oh yeah, it was the guy who he chose that show to go forward with, even though none of the other, like, he chose his own show.
Yeah, he chose his own show. Genlock, that's what it's called. Genlock. There we go.
Genlock. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
I was so trying to get to it too. Yeah, I was trying to get to it too, and I couldn't remember it. I just remembered Michael B. Jordan, so because that dude is amazing. But anyways, it's nuts. I mean, honestly, to be honest, because a lot of people have been asking me this, because a lot of people did follow us over here from Darkstar, or I guess I should say followed me over here from Darkstar. I don't watch anything Rooster Teeth anymore. After Bernie left, that was pretty much it for me. I've not seen a podcast since Bernie's left. That's for sure, 100%. Since Bernie left the company, I've not seen a podcast, and I can't remember the last volume of Ruby I watched. I honestly cannot. I have no idea anything about it. Like, Rooster Teeth has been just... It's like Bernie left, and then it was like scandal with all the animators. Scandal with all these shows being prioritized over other things. Bam, now out of nowhere, all these people are getting fucking laid off in the first time in Rooster Teeth history. And then now after that, there was like... there was 2 different sex scandals. One that was an actual sex scandal, and one that somebody was trying to pin on somebody, and he was completely innocent and was proven innocent, but everybody in the Rooster Teeth community turned their back on him, and so then he just left. Yeah, like, it was, bad. And the one that was an actual sex scandal was a minor, by the way, a fan.
Yeah, it was grooming, right?
Yeah, grooming.
Right, I remember that.
Yep. Yeah, Ryan. Yep. The other one was Adam from Funhouse. A lot of people were saying that they saw him and he looked like he was like very flirty whenever he was at, whatever, but no one ever saw him like touching anybody. And so he came out and started fighting allegations because it was coming from inside Rooster Teeth. Like, other people were like, "Oh yeah, Adam just looks like he's too friendly." Da 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 da. And it's like, what the fuck is too friendly? Like, like, if I'm not touching people and I'm not being inappropriate, who cares how I talk to people as long as I'm not being inappropriate? Which I agree with. Like, if he's not being inappropriate, fine.
Don't be inappropriate with your words either.
Well, but that's part of the inappropriate that he's talking about.
Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure that was included.
To me, a fan is a fan. Like, I'm supposed to talk to this fan about, like, fan-related shit. I'm not going out of my way. He's happily married, da-da-da-da-da. So then there was all these people that are all like, yeah, well, there was, like, something that popped up, some story where, like, he was at this Comic-Con and was sexually groping one of these fans, da-da-da-da-da. And they ran this whole fucking story within Rooster Teeth. And all the people in Rooster Teeth turned their back on him. And then, like, it came out, he was never even at that Comic-Con. Like, had total alibi, was not even in the same fucking city. And he's all like, this is how you're going to fucking treat me? I've been here for how many years? And you just fucking throw me to the wolves over something? And, like, the picture was blurry as fuck. The dude just so happened to have a tattoo in the same side that fucking Adam did. I was like, are you fucking... And by far, one of their most talented people, by the way. I have never met anybody in my life more talented in improv than that guy. Like, could literally walk into work, tired as fuck, sit down, start recording, don't need a script, don't need nothing. Could just literally carry an entire fucking episode.
Talented guy.
Super fucking talented. Like, he was one of those that I watched and I was like, I hope one day I can do content the way he does. Like, that good. So, yeah, but hey, is what it is. So, yeah, Rooster Teeth is a fraction of what it used to be, and I haven't watched a single thing since then. It's been nuts. I even unsubscribed, honestly. So,
wow, all right.
Rooster Teeth, Achievement Hunter, Funhouse, the whole family tree. I just went through and I was like, I don't watch anything from here. Unsubscribe. I still subscribe to Bernie on Instagram though, so that's about all I got. I got Bernie on Instagram and Twitter, and like it's like once every 4 months he'll put a picture up of like him and his son. Like, he moved out to like fucking Sweden or some shit. Like, he left the country. Like, that dude got the fuck out. Him, his wife, they got a brand new baby. He's got 2 sons. Like, he's just out there living. Like, he's living a life. I don't even think he has internet. Like, honestly. Like, I mean, every time I see him, he's out there, like, chopping logs and shit. And they've got, like, animals and sheep. And he's out there grooming them. I'm like, he went, like, off the fucking grid. Good Lord. So, but, yeah. I was like, damn. That was, like, my fucking mentor for a while. Like, he didn't know that. But I watched everything that man put out. So that was a fucking hero of mine. That was good guy. So
he didn't leave under bad circumstances.
No. He said that he always knew it would get to a point where he would unfortunately have to leave the thing that he created. And I knew it was getting closer and closer to that, especially once they made the decision to put Matt as CEO. And I knew it was because he wanted to be on more content. But he was like, at this point, I'm not even able to be on content because of all this new stuff that I have to keep coming up with, and what I started this company for, I don't feel like I get to do anymore. And he's like, I don't want to leave Rooster Teeth on a bad note. He's like, I still love this company, but I don't feel that it's what I built anymore, which is fine as long as it runs the way it needs to run in order for people to be able to make a paycheck, for the fans to be able to still love it and still feel like they're welcomed in this community here. Then maybe it's just not me anymore.
Yeah.
So I give him props, step away and go do your own shit. So, and the way he did it was by far the fucking best way to announce it. A long time ago, he had bought a web domain for Bernie.com because his name is Bernie. And apparently it used to belong to the city of Bernie, Tasmania. And they wanted it back because it had lapsed, and he had bought it when it lapsed and didn't know that. And so they had sent him an email, but they sent it to the email that he had on there, which was the Rooster Teeth email at the time, like the main one, because he started the company with just 3 other guys in his house. And so Gus saw it, so he went onto the website. So he deletes the email so Bernie doesn't see it. And then he goes onto the website and does this whole like long list of like why Bernie as a town sucks, and telling them basically go fuck themselves, all this other stuff. And so he didn't even know about it, and then he finally sees like another email and he goes and looks at it, he's like, holy shit. So he's always kept the website, but it's just been a blank website, there's nothing on it. And then the day he left, he goes, I've got some big news, and then he just posts a link to that website. And he had remade all of it and was giving like all his heartfelt goodbye to the fans and what he was planning on doing with his future moving on and where he was moving to and all this other shit. And it was rough to read. I was like, no. I can't tell you how many of those old vlogs I go back and watch. I'm like, I miss you, Bernie. I miss you, senpai. That was my guy, man. That was my guy. It sucks, but oh well, is what it is. So this podcast should have came out after Christmas. So I hope you guys all had a great Christmas, everybody that's watching, and I hope that you have a happy New Year. Looking forward to Dead Funny's New Year after the holidays is whenever I plan on trying to get everybody down so we can do our big 200 subscriber thank you video. So be on the lookout for that after the holidays. That should be a lot of fun. But we are going to go ahead and wrap it up here so we can go hang out with our families and have some good times. So if you guys enjoy this podcast, make sure you like and subscribe, turn on notifications. That way you get notified next time we upload another video. Hit the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts and views. Also, we have our merch link, Twitters and Twitches down there as well. But other than that, hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time.